Okay, so there are two towns, A and B, right? And there are the total population in both of the towns is 100. So there are 100 people living in those two towns. People cannot move outside of those two towns, but they can move around freely between those towns, right?
Okay.
Sit up.
Is that going in the video?
Yeah. Yeah. And let's say there are 50 women and 50 men, right?
Okay.
And it doesn't matter how they initially start. I mean, it kind of does. But let's say they are randomly scattered between the two towns, men and women. How do you think the two towns' populations are going to end up being?
So you have two towns with 100 people each, or in total there's 100?
Total 100. So 50 men, 50 women.
Right. So 50 men, so we're not doing the towns thing, so it's 50 men and 50 women?
No, 50 men and 50 women distributed in town A and town B. So like there could be like 30 men and 20 women in one town, and 20 women and 20 men and 30 women in another town, like that. So the thing is, everyone prefers to be the majority. So what they prefer the most is that they're equal. So there are 25 men and 25 women, or 30 men and 30 women. So they're most satisfied when this is the case. But when one has to be the majority, people prefer to be in the group that is the majority. So if...
Right. So ideally, sorry for interrupting. Ideally, it's either 25-25, or 30-30, or 40-40, or something like that. But if not, they'll just want to be in the majority.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means that if they're not in the majority, they're going to tend to move to the town that is the majority.
Yes.
Considering that there's 50 and 50, there will always be different majorities. If in one town the majority is male, in the other one it has to be female. And vice versa. Since there is an equal amount of them, there cannot be a situation where it's both male and male.
Unless it's 25, 25, 25, 25.
Well, yeah, unless it's like completely equal on both sides.
Yeah.
So, now we would have to see if the equilibrium will shift between it being 25-25 or 50-0-0-50. Because those are the two possible outcomes, because people will move if they're now 25-25, 25-25.
Yeah. Are right. Those the only equilibriums?
Aha. That is a good question. Let's suppose... Mama, you pose a good question. Can there be a third equilibrium that's not, 50 on one side, 50 on the other, or 25-25? There can only be two towns, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. With any other number, you will get like an equal amount. Because suppose you have 30-20, and then the other 10 is 20-30. Then people are going to want to go, like the people in the 30-20, the 20s are going to want to go to the other town. Right? And the 20s in the other town are going to want to go to the town that there's 30 of them.
Okay, think of it this way. Can the towns have equal amounts of men and women in each of them if it's not 25, 25, 25, 25?
Oh, well, yeah, okay, you make a good point. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be 30-30, 20-20, or 40-40, 10-10, right?
Yeah.
So, as long as there's like 50%, like each town is composed of 50%, 50%, the equilibrium has been reached. Right? So those are the possibilities. That either both towns have the same amount of men and women, or that they're 100% male, 100% female. Those are the two options.
Yeah.
Because I don't see any other option. Now, the thing is, when you start from a point of, like, that's not equilibrium, does it tend to go to one of the two extremes we said, or will it always tumble towards one of the two extremes? Like, what is the tipping point between one and the other?
No. So the idea is that whenever one becomes the majority in a town, it's going to become the extreme case. Because people don't like being minorities.
Yeah. But
so if in the case where it's 25, 25, 25, 25, like a girl from one town can easily decide to move to another town, because in that way, she's automatically going to become the majority.
Yeah, but didn't you say they prefer to be in like a balanced situation rather than the majority?
Yes, but that preference isn't as strong as them trying to avoid being the minority. Right?
Right. So, the only way it would stay at 25, 25, 25, 25 is if they start at 25, 25, 25, 25.
Yeah, but even so, it's going to cripple really easily if one person just decides to move.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like, where's the limit between the system wanting to tend to the 25, 25 or the system wanting to tend to another point? Because I'm guessing that 25 is a utopia.
No, actually, because even if it's 25, 25, 25, 25, people don't really have that big of an incentive to not move to another town, right? Because even if they do move, they're still going to be the majority, so they're not going to lose out on much.
Right, so 25, 25 is not an equilibrium, or rather it's the opposite.
No, it is an equilibrium, but it has a very high chance to becoming the extreme. However, in the extreme case, nobody is going to move to the other town. So in that case, it's never going to change.
Is the most stable.
Yeah. So eventually the towns are going to become 50 of one gender in one and 50 of the other gender in the other, and just stay that way. But in the 25-25 case, people are going to move and eventually become the extreme case.
Yeah.
But there is still another equilibrium.
Oh, so let's say we're at the 25-25, right? That case, and then someone decides to move. Now we have 26-24 and 24-26, right? Now, in the 26-24, the males and females, that male has no motivation to go to the other one, because by going to the other one, he just makes it equal. He doesn't make it a majority, and so he would prefer to stay in the majority. This means that males will not, like in that case, the males from that town won't want to go to the other one, and the females won't want to go to the other one either. So what's going to happen is that if you start at 25-25, you're very rapidly going to deteriorate.
Yeah.
Into the extreme case, right?
Yeah, but in what case would they not have the motivation to move, other than the extreme cases?
Yeah. what would be the case, actually?
Remember what I said earlier?
What did you say earlier?
About how there can be a case
Right.
where... Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be 25, 25, which you mentioned. Let's suppose 40, 40, 10, 10. Right? Does that cause the same, like, tending to go to the extreme thing? So if it's 40, 40, 10, 10, there's there's one possibility. In that case, someone could move. So then we will go to 41, 39, 41, 40, and then like 9, 10, or something like that, right? So in that case, the 41 40s, the 41 there has no motivation to move. The 40 does have a motivation to move. Because they would move from a place where they're not the majority to a place where at least they can be equal. And by doing that, there's going to be a constant influx. Up to the point, though, where the men overtake the women on the other side, and then... Oh, I need to write this down. This was very good.
No, you don't.
My mental capacity is very short.
No, you're thinking it too hard.
Maybe.
So 40,
But
40,
it's not
10,
to
10
go
is
300.
basically the same as 25, 25, 25, 25.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but okay, let's suppose like it's 40. One person decides to move, right? So 40, 39, 10, 11.
No, 40, 40, 10, 10 doesn't even have... You don't even have to think about 40, 40, 10, 10 because it's the same as 25, 25, 25, 25.
Okay, so we're at the same point then. Right. Okay. So you're saying that case would also tend to the extreme.
Yeah, so what is the other case?
That's not the extreme, right?
Yeah.
Huh. And I'm thinking if you start out like with an imbalance, how about 50, 50, 0, 0?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's the other
Yeah.
one. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, in 50, 50, 0, 0,
There's a
no one
concept.
would want to move.
Yeah, exactly. There's no motivation to move. It's like 25, 25, but just join both of the count.
Yeah, but in 25, 25, people would want to move.
To another town to
Yeah,
make a majority.
but
in
in
that
50,
case,
50, 0, 0, they wouldn't want to move to the other town because they would be the only one there.
they'd be alone.
Yeah.
Unless they're a loner.
No.
But then if they're a loner and someone comes to the other place because they're like, oh, we can be a majority here, the loner goes a we. They're like, no.